friends, Top 10 Scary Urban Legends here. I'm your host Makayla, and today we are talking about the top 10 most haunted high schools in America, so let's get started. Starting off at number 10, Hibbing High School. Hibbing High School in Minnesota is not your typically average school building. Here the staircases are marble, the railings are brass, the art walls hold the whole, almost medieval design together. The auditorium was modeled after the Capitol Theater, which was a site itself. And when Bob Dylan was still Robert Zimmerman and a student at Hibbing High, he performed on the auditorium stage during a talent show. But even with star performances and a stunning design, it's a lone seat inside the auditorium that attracts the most attention from anyone. The story goes that the first stage manager, named Bill, was employed at the school from 1927 to the late 1960s, and he passed away after a chandelier fell on his head. Rumors soon arose that Bill never really left his favorite seat in the theater, named J47. In the early 90s, Chuck Perry, who at the point had been stage manager since 1979, took a series of photographs of the auditorium after a woman reported feeling a cold chill as she walked around the J47 row. And lo and behold, one of the photographs taken with a Polaroid camera showed a man sitting in J47, wearing formal clothes and a top hat. Number 9, El Paso High School. When it comes to the scary school in America, El Paso High School in Texas supposedly has them all beat. Its ghost stories range from sealed off hallways full of mist and strange goo dripping from the ceiling to hidden classrooms beneath the building no one knew existed. However, nothing compares to the photo of the graduating class of 1985. While the woman in the center is blurry, there is no doubt that she is there. Or so you think. According to former students, there was no one standing there when the picture was taken, nor can the female in question be identified. Some believe the figure to be a young girl who had taken her own life years before jumping from a balcony connected to the misty hallway. Number 8, Parker Rhodes Elementary. You know the saying, you never leave anyone behind because if you do, that's where they might stay? Well, that's the lesson learned at this school, which was built on an old cemetery ground. As a matter of fact, in the 1950s, Missouri ordered Leaf Brown Cemetery to dig up all the bodies in the cemetery and move them to another area prior to the construction of the neighborhood and school there. But it's rumored that they left one body behind. And you guessed it, it's the ghost of the deceased body that haunts Parker Rhodes School. Apparently, the ghost only likes kids there. The teachers and other staff reportedly haven't seen it, but the students have seen a ghost in the bathrooms and have identified her as a woman in a black dress with long, wavy blonde hair and no eyes. Coming in at number 7, Lee Williams High School. When your school sits atop a frontier town once involved in mining, railroading, and cattle, driving back to when Arizona was still considered a territory, you're bound to come across a vengeful spirit or two. In fact, students of Lee Williams High School claim they've seen a man in a bowler hat roaming the halls quite frequently, as well as a young girl who calls out at night that she wants to go out and play. Pair this with the unusual flickering lights and motion detectors going off by themselves, and you've got yourself a good old-fashioned haunting, right? Furthermore, after renovations in 2010, part of the football field is now located directly on top of Old Pioneer Cemetery, which might explain why people have witnessed ghosts in prairie gowns and suits appear during graduation events on the field. There were also 7 coffins that were dug up during renovations that might also play a role in the matter. Number 6, Old Portland High School. The old high school in Portland, Michigan originally opened in 1881. According to a long-standing urban legend, a 14-year-old student was crushed till she passed away underneath a pile of gym bleachers that collapsed on her in 1918. The janitor, who reportedly failed to fix the bleachers after learning they were faulty, had disappeared. It was believed that the student's father took the life of the janitor out of revenge for his daughter's passing. He then burned the body and set the school on fire. The school was then rebuilt and reopened in 1920. However, the ghosts of the girls and the janitor remained. Decades later, the school was converted into a housing complex named Old School Manor. It then served as housing between 1992 and 2008, and during this time, several tenants reported that their household items would disappear, only to be found stacked on top of one another in a different room. Others reported hearing the disconnected school bells ringing, and some have even encountered the ghost of the student who allegedly slapped them on the back. One tenant in particular had a horrendous experience with the janitor's ghost. She alleged that the ghost would terrorize her 2-year-old daughter and demand that she tell her mother they had to move out of their apartment. Halfway at number 5, Cathedral High School. Facing your fears is considered the best way to overcome them, but Cathedral High School might take that step a bit too far. Embracing the fact that the premises were built on the remains of an old cavalry cemetery, headstones of the deceased, which have been dug up during renovations through the years, are prominently displayed around the school football field. To add insult to injury, the school's mascot is the Phantoms in honor of the land's heritage. While students and teachers consider all of this to be a point of pride and rarely even entertain the notion that the school might be haunted, maintenance workers don't share their sentiments. They claim that along with seeing and hearing the spirits of the once living, they literally feel their presence at night, often accompanied by cold spots throughout the property, which is located in sunny Los Angeles, California. Number 4, Las Vegas High School. Las Vegas is all glitz, glamour, money, and well, ghosts. There are quite a few haunted places in Sin City, including Zach Bagans' The Haunted Museum, Westgate, and the Lugshore. In 1931, the Las Vegas Academy of the Arts was known as Las Vegas High School. It was the first official high school in the city and the place where the ghost of the former teacher, Mr. Petrie, roamed after he passed in a mysterious fire. Even after the school converted into an arts academy, rumors of the haunting continued. Some people reported seeing a man in a white tux occupying a particular seat in the theater, very similar to what happens at Hibbing High School, which we talked about at number 10. Meanwhile, others felt sharp temperature drops and experienced intense feelings of sadness and despair whenever they entered the building. Number 3, Roy High School. Roy High School in Utah is home to many ghosts, which all appear to have their own specific quirks. For instance, the one known as Mabel lurks around the auditorium backstage near a set of winding stairs. She's not shy though, as she tends to tinker with the lighting and move props around. Another auditorium ghost is said to wear a purple hat and try to convince students to follow her, but gives off a much too evil vibe to dare try. Others include a floating head ghost in the upper left balcony and another who roams in the halls. It is believed that he passed after being hit by a train walking to school. Students also say they can feel him watching them if they are wandering around alone. Coming in at number 2, Lincoln High School. Lincoln High School in South Dakota opened its doors on October 19, 1965 with an opening class of about 1,300 students. The original student body quickly started to grow as the years passed, and by the end of the decade there were around 2,000 students who were enrolled at the school. As the years went on, it started to become one of the best academic schools in the area. Though there have been no known passings of people at the school, that doesn't change the fact that many people have reported ghostly experiences. And here's a video of one of the teachers who worked at the school for 17 years sharing her experiences.
Last year in the fall, I was in my room. It was in the evening. I was working on some stuff here, and my daughter was here with me. And I was the only one in my room other than my daughter. All the rest of the rooms going this way were all dark. And we'd happened to look up and I saw somebody walk by the windows and there was a flash of light, like a flashlight going around the room. So I went next door and I opened the door. There was not a soul in the room. Everything was dark. There was no custodians around in the building or in that room.
Now at number 1, St. Charles East High School. Ghosts are scary enough as it is, but when they're accompanied by a horrifyingly gruesome backstory, they become the fuel of nightmares. St. Charles East High School in Illinois is where it is rumored that the spirit of a former freshman girl haunts the halls. Said to have been playing her flute in the band room when a deranged janitor assaulted and took her life. She was then cut into pieces and stuffed in various lockers. Since then, band students occasionally run across body parts in their lockers, only to have them disappear right in front of them. Others claim to hear the sound of a faint flute being played when the room is quiet and when they are alone. Worst of all, many have had their flutes disappear mysteriously, while others notice signs that their instrument has been played while left at the school overnight. And that was the top 10 most haunted high schools in America. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments below, and let us know what future videos you want to see, and we will see you next time.